All right, guys, welcome back. Wisdom and Wealth. Listen, I got a guy, Kyle Draper, here with me today that I'm super excited to have on, and is a former pastor, coach, a business owner, entrepreneur. Has started several different businesses. Friend of mine, and I'll tell you, like, one of my favorite things about you, man, is like I can be super intense, right, and like hardcore.
Yeah,
you have the biggest heart of anybody that I know.
I thought you were about to say like, and you are so intense. I was like, I am not intense at all.
No, like your heart, your authenticity.
Yeah.
This is what I've loved about you since day one from us meeting.
Yeah.
Was that like, you're not afraid to share it. You're like, I feel inadequate about XYZ, or like I've done this and I was totally uncomfortable, but you did it. And those are the people that I've always respected, are the ones that just did it anyways. And so I'm so thankful to have you on.
You break the door down,
yeah,
and I hug the door. So,
well, because there's a yin and yang.
That's right.
To this, right? Where like you got to have hard chargers. You also have to have people who showed that love a ton because they check each other, and so anyways, because that's one thing that challenges me, and I appreciate being challenged, but I'm thankful for you, man. And
I appreciate you, bro. Honored to be here.
Yeah, a stud. Well, dude, jump into if you don't mind, just give everybody a brief. I know you got a lot going on.
Yeah.
But give everybody a brief about where you're at today.
Where I'm at today, I own too many companies.
Yeah. Classic entrepreneur.
But I actually haven't started a new one in like the last year and a half. So I feel like I'm dialing in,
Next one.
Yeah, I'm due for something. But I've got, I travel the country and speak. And so I was a pastor for 10 years in my 20s. And so just always had the gift of communication. And over the last 12 years in the world of entrepreneurship, I was using that gift to speak, to get in front of people. And so now I literally get to travel the world, and blows my mind that people pay me money to get on stages that I would happily do for free.
Yeah.
And so, that's a big piece of what I do. I got back at midnight last night from Virginia Beach. I'll be in New Jersey speaking on Tuesday, and then Vegas right after that. And so it's a wild thing, but it creates growth in all my other businesses. And so I also own a virtual assistant company.
Yeah.
For those that aren't familiar, it's remote staffing. So we have all of our people are in the Philippines, and we pair them up with American-based businesses, and it's unbelievable from a business perspective, but also from a kind of ministry perspective, because we get to love and serve people on the other side of the world. And then I've got a coaching company directly in the mortgage space right now. And then somehow I wrote a book, and then that turned into a publishing company.
Yeah.
And so now we have 7 books published. We have 7 more in production right now. We have 4 already slated for the first quarter of 2026. And bro, we're just getting after it, man. However we can serve people, we look for gaps and we fill them.
Yeah.
And then if we can make money while we're filling those gaps, then obviously that's the sweet spot.
Yeah. It's a big time.
Yeah.
Dude, well, all right. Well, talk about that. Last time we got into it, you were this is the stuff that I like, right? Like the staffing company is doing awesome, but initially you started that out with like moms, stay-at-home moms.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude.
Talk about that.
So in 2019, I had my breakout moment as a speaker. I spoke at the biggest real estate event in the world and booked all these speaking gigs, and then COVID happened and I lost all of them.
Yeah.
And so as we're burning through savings, I'm just praying, going, God, what is happening? How did we were working so hard for this. And he reminded me of this concept that I'd taught when I was teaching classes. And I thought, okay, we're going to start a company. And so we started this marketing company. I had this vision of using stay-at-home moms to be my designers, my video editors. And man, people, again, you mentioned my heart. People were like, oh, that is the sweetest thing I've ever heard. But it was awful. We were over-promising and under-delivering to everyone.
Yeah.
And so a buddy of mine was like, man, the way y'all are doing this, you're perfectly set up to have a VA. And I thought, I don't know what a VA is. Well, you just say that like I'm supposed to know what those letters mean. And so that was the day that I learned about a virtual assistant for the first time. Men and women from countries all over the world that are unbelievably gifted and talented, but they just don't have the opportunity where they live like we have here. And so I hired my first VA almost 6 years ago, Hannah. She's still with me today. She runs the Rethink Everything book series now.
Wow.
And bro, 1 turned to 2, 2 turned to 8, 8 turned to 20. And fast forward a year and a half ago, my team, because I'm not smart, right? I just love people.
Yeah.
You know? And my team came to me and were like, we're incredible at managing these VAs. Why are we not doing that instead of just doing marketing?
Yeah.
And so pivoted, like we killed the other company that day, spun up what's now called Higher Culture VA. And bro, it's blowing up.
Yeah.
And it's just because of faithfulness.
Yeah.
And, making good decisions.
Well, I love it because it's like you start one way and you just pivot it though.
Yeah.
I'm like, either way you start.
Yep.
Wherever it is. And I love it. I mean, heck, I don't have a VA. I had some VA help before a little bit from the Philippines. You actually directed me in first off when I did that.
Yeah.
With a little bit of social media help.
Yep.
And then I hired here. And so, but I thought it was great because I could utilize for a better cost for me.
Yeah.
Somebody else's talents. Right?
That's right.
And to them, it was a ton of money.
Yep.
Getting paid over minimum wage.
Way over.
And loving it.
Yeah.
And so that was a big deal. But it's funny to me now. And now I think it's funny. But like, at the time, I remember my mentor telling me like, you need to hire somebody. I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't hire anybody. I don't have that money. I'm trying to live just off the business and the funds that it's producing. And like, they're like, do you want to get paid well? Like, you need to stop doing $20 an hour work.
That's right.
And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, why are you doing paperwork? Why are you doing all these tasks, these menial tasks that don't pay you anything?
Mm-hmm.
And $20 free an hour. Right. And when I got that, it was a risk, but it's paid off so much when you finally get people that are in.
Right now, like, because I get asked all the time, I don't think I work as hard as people think I work, but the internet looks like I work really hard, and part of that is like my executive assistant right now, Ray, he lives in my email.
Yeah.
So while I'm on here hanging out with you, and then when I go have 5 sales calls later today, he's setting appointments. He's navigating through that inbox so that at the end of the day, I don't go, ugh, I've got 300 emails I've got to go sift through.
Right.
And so I just show up to new opportunity because Ray's in there taking care of everything.
Yeah.
And it's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. Huge.
It's crazy.
Huge. That was a massive one. And I'll tell you, like, there's a lot of people, people way bigger than us that struggle with that.
Yep.
Giving away their email. And you probably read Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time.
Yep.
Right. That, Who Not How.
Yep.
Those are all influential books for me. But it was like, no, I trust you to run this.
Yeah.
And I'll even a line that was gold to me. This was from Buy Back Your Time, but it was, you give the line to your assistant, who that is.
Yep.
And like, this is how I want you to answer this message. And you're like, Kyle emails Corey, hey, Corey, you asked me a question. And Meredith jumps in, hey, Kyle, saw your message before Corey, just figured you'd like a speedier response.
Right.
Who doesn't like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I like speedy response.
Yeah, I tell Ray all the time, you don't need to be me in my email.
Yeah, right.
It looks cool. Like people think I'm cooler than I am in real life. When it's like, hey, this is Ray, Kyle's assistant. People are like, dang, Kyle's got an assistant?
Dang, dude, big time.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything, but if you think it means something, I'll allow you to think that,
That's perfect right there. I love it. What okay. Talk about let's go into rethink everything.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you like used to I love the VA stuff,
Yeah.
but we started talking about before we started rolling was you've always been from the time that I first met you have like basically like the marketing machine,
Yeah.
social media machine.
Yeah.
And like we even doubled down on this last year, and which was funny because we just I went to an NFL event yesterday, and I got called out by me and Johnny Quinn.
Johnny.
You know
Yeah.
Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
We both got called out for marketing because actually guy got up there for all these players, these former players and some current guys about marketing from the league, and used Jerry Jones as an example and how he has turned this into a marketing machine.
Yeah.
And so anyways, he called me out. He was like, "You've been posting nonstop on LinkedIn." And I had doubled down on that this last year.
Yeah.
From somebody who's way bigger than our business, and took it from them to be just a content creation machine. Like how could have the cure for cancer, but if you don't know what good is it?
Yeah. Right.
So, but we've seen returns. But I'll tell you, even a journey for me is the book, but like that's more content creation. But to talk about like even like your journey with that, because I know like I didn't want to be hardcore social media.
Yeah.
I like sharing. I like
Yeah.
the attention, but I don't want to be the narcissistic dude.
Right.
But I also want my business to do really well and perform for my family. Talk your journey through that.
Yeah. So we've totally perverted the waters of social media with this whole influencer thing. And so now when you think social media, you think influencer.
Yeah.
And we've got all these young kids that, you know, they want to be famous on the internet. And for like, what are you going to be talented at? Nothing. Just be famous on the internet. That's the world we live in. In the business world, right? Like I cut my teeth at all of this first in roofing, after church ministry, and then working with realtors. And what I found was, this is interesting. You want to sell 20 houses, the realtor, but then you're over here asking me, how do I get to 10,000 followers on social media? And you get asked that enough and you start to go, that math doesn't make sense. You need to know 10,000 people to sell 20 houses?
Right.
Well, why?
Yeah.
Like in what world? And so then I started reframing it going, okay, if you already have 1,000 people you're connected to on the internet and you want to do 20 deals, 50 deals, you want to bring in through Pro Capital 30 new clients, it makes sense that you already have those clients inside of the 1,000 people you already know.
Right.
And so instead of chasing likes, chasing shares, chasing virality, chasing that moment that, if everybody's honest, it doesn't actually do anything for your business, we just need to put out content that serves the people we already know. And that's not content that sells. It's content that serves.
Yeah.
And so like I used to love, I haven't seen you put it up in a long time, but like you used to put up a ton of like workout content from your garage.
Yeah.
You know, you and your bro.
Haven't been working out in my garage.
And and like that's such easy content. And it's relatable content to people that are also doing those things.
Yeah.
And so we've got to become more open-minded with what are we willing to share. And I had this conversation in Virginia Beach yesterday. I was talking to this guy who just had this crazy surgery. They cut the back third of his heel off to repair it, and they screwed it back on with 2 big old screws. He showed me this x-ray, and you're like, oof, oh, like it was gross.
Yeah.
I said, Jeff, why have you not shared that? Well, I did on my personal page, but I didn't on LinkedIn. I went, dude, you go to conferences as a part of your job. Like you don't want to give people conversation starters so that when they see you, they're like, bro.
Right. I saw that.
Did I see that? Like you had the back part of your foot cut off. Like it's incredible conversation, but we've been convinced that like that's personal, and then this is business,
Right.
And the reality is if all you ever talk about is business, nobody gives a crap.
That's right.
If they don't trust you and believe in you as a human being. And so we've got to bridge that gap. And that's really been like the 10-year journey for me, is understanding that I could put up a post today of a piece of pizza that literally says, what's your favorite type of pizza? That'd get 100 comments.
Yeah.
And then that's going to reset the algorithm for somebody.
Pineapple doesn't belong on pizza.
Yeah, like say something crazy, right? I'm going to be bold.
Yeah.
You know? And you're going to get all these people come argue in your comments about pizza toppings. And as silly as that feels, that's building trust with people.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, one of my biggest posts ever was I just asked people, are you a cat or dog person? It had like 1,400 comments.
Did it really?
Dude, it was crazy. Hold on,
I got to make a post real quick.
Yeah, make it. And then I'm getting in there like firing people up. I'm like, oh, you're a cat person? I thought you were better than that. You know, and those win.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that, you know, they think they're too cool and, you know, but you got to completely rethink, which is why I wrote my book, like the way you look at social media. Because I would almost guarantee everyone listening to this is carrying around some really nasty mindsets that are hurting their ability to grow, and they need to let go of them. Otherwise, they'll always struggle.
Dude, it's so small story. It's funny you say that. Small story. You immediately made me think one of the biggest like Facebook posts that I ever made was about Pop-Tarts.
There you go.
I legit, and any athletes out there remember Saturday morning sports, and they used to funnel us with orange juice, apple juice, or with Pop-Tarts that was either strawberry or brown sugar.
Yeah.
And I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was like, brown sugar Pop-Tarts are the best, said no one ever. And I had an explosion.
Dang.
And I was
Shots fired.
Dude, I mean, if everybody didn't fire back, and no joke, I actually had a client bring me a box of Pop-Tarts.
That's hilarious.
And he was like, you need to melt butter on this right now and eat it. And you're going to thank me for it and issue a public apology about what you said.
I love it.
I'm like, I can't believe this has got that much attention. When I just thought it was something stupid.
And it is stupid.
Yeah.
But that's like when you go to lunch with someone,
Yeah.
you don't have 90 minutes of high level 10 out of 10 conversation.
Yeah.
Right? At some point, you're going to be like, man, did you catch the new Cowboys documentary? And if they're like, yes, then all of a sudden you're like, can you believe what happened in episode 3? None of that's valuable to your life.
Right.
But it's real.
Yeah.
Like that's what consumes us right now. And we leave it out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I've never seen Temptation Island ever.
I've never watched that.
But like the NFL teams are getting better at like with their social. And I caught I think it was a Minnesota Vikings video yesterday on TikTok. And there's 2 guys left, I guess, Jeremiah and somebody. And so they were just walking up to the players going, are you team Jeremiah or are you team the other guy? You know, what the other. And some of the guys were like, they knew.
Yeah.
And they were like, you could watch their face like light up, you know? Like, you're going to ask me something that's not football related? Thank God.
Yeah.
And then others were just like guessing names. And they were like, nope, wrong. That's the guy that's bad. And it's just a great content piece for social because it paints pro athletes that are looked at up here as, man, they're just like us.
Yeah.
They watch the same shows that we watch. And so if we're not constantly humanizing ourselves to one another, we're just walking endorsements. And then we wonder why nobody cares anymore.
Yeah.
And so people got to do it better.
Yeah.
Go buy my book.
Well, that's what I want you to get into now.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, okay, talk about Rethink Everything. I mean, that's 7 books right now. That's
crazy. It is. And just so people understand, I did not write 7 books. I'm not smart enough to, nor do I ever believe that people would see that enough value in me. But my wife and I were on our anniversary trip 4 years ago in Mexico. God woke me up in the middle of the night. I'm a hot sleeper, so I need it cold. It wasn't cold in Mexico. And so I'm sweating. And so I get up, I go out onto the patio, and I literally felt like God said, write a book right now. And I was like, what? It's the middle of the night. And I don't know how to write. Like, I didn't even I went to 5 colleges. I didn't graduate from any of them. And I wrote 4 chapters of the book while we were in Mexico. And then we flew home, and I was like, well, dang it. Now I've got to finish.
Yeah.
And so I finished the book. We published it about 3 years ago now. And it was called Rethink. Well, it is still called Rethink Everything You Know About Social Media. And as it was out and people were getting it, I started getting all this feedback of, dude, rethink everything is such a cool concept. Like, we should always be rethinking. And so again, I'm dumb. And so I just stop and go, Lord, am I missing something? Like, why does everybody else think this is really cool? And I'm just like, ugh, it's over.
Yeah.
And so what we decided was, we're going to become the new age book for dummies. I'm 42.
Oh, that's great.
Book for Dummies has been around since I've been a kid. I've never seen anyone challenge it. They have like 3,000 titles.
Yeah.
But they call everybody dummies. You know, I'm the big-hearted guy.
I use that word all the time.
You know?
I'm dumb, big dumb.
That's right. And so we decided we're going to be the new age book for dummies. And then we wrote the second book, and that was more for the mortgage industry. And then we wrote a real estate book, and then we wrote a book about CRMs. And then we wrote a book that's really my favorite book because it's financial literacy for teens.
Okay.
And so we had 16 women come together and write this book to help teenagers understand how to operate inside of your finances. And it should be in every school district in America.
Wow. And
not very many people know about it yet. So we're going to get it out there. And then we've got a new book coming out for the insurance industry next week. And dude, we're just going. I just signed on a book. We're going to do a book about craft beer. I don't even like beer. But I got introduced to this girl who's an influencer in the craft beer space.
Okay.
And that's a pretty intense community. If you've ever been around people, they get real weird and passionate about their beer.
Super personal about it.
Yeah.
They're
and
so they make fun of you about what kind of beer you drink. Like 100%. If you're a light beer drinker, like they're.
That's right.
What are you, a girl?
That's right.
Like, that's what I'm like, what?
So it'll probably be our best-selling book ever because that's just a passionate group of people.
Yeah.
That I don't even like beer, but there's a lot of people that do. And so you and I are probably going to write a book together. We just haven't talked about it yet.
Well, I immediately start thinking of applications for even the financial literacy one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's that. So even when you had 16 ladies. So who are the ladies? How are you even going about choosing?
Well, so people? Because for that book specifically, because of my influence for the last 5 years, like in the mortgage space, those are all money people. And what's been cool about these books is as each one is released, somebody DMs me, emails me, texts me, and is like, "Can I write one?"
Yeah.
I'm like, heck yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
And so 2 women approached me that are in mortgage. They're super passionate about educating people about finances. And so they were like, we want to do a book for teens. And obviously, who would want to be a part of that?
Yeah.
And man, they crushed it. And so it's really cool. And it brings people together, the community that it's because most of our books are collaborative. We have a couple that are solo authors, but our green book is what it's been called, has 40 people a part of that book that all contributed a chapter. And so we call ourselves the Green Book family because that's a labor of love. We spent a lot of time hanging out with one another in the process of writing it and marketing it and doing events. And, Yeah, God told me we're gonna do 300 books,
That's pretty cool.
and then Wiley or somebody is gonna pay me a lot of money to
Wow.
buy it.
Are they a publishing company? Is that who that is?
Wiley is, yeah.
Wiley is?
Yeah.
Okay. To buy.
Any of the
Rethink
big ones.
everything.
If I didn't say your name, you can still talk to me about it.
So, but I love that. I mean, I love the rethink everything because it's true. I'll tell you, like, there is this huge, especially like if we get into LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
Is this like,
We have a LinkedIn book coming.
this isn't Facebook. And you're
Yeah.
like, I don't care. Scroll on.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
you're like, what? So you don't like my post.
Right.
Bye.
That's it.
And I get it. I've had that pull where I've had to stop doing that, even where they comment or come at somebody. And like, I dip in once in a while, but like,
Of course you do.
yeah, but but like, but I've had to pull back a bunch from that. But still, it's like, the comments that I would get, they were like, yeah, you would say, I haven't seen you post a workout video in a while, or like, man,
Yeah.
I love your barbecue posts, and that's just me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm even sharing anything.
Well, so think about this. You said you go in sometimes. I would encourage you to go in all the time from the right heart,
right?
which that's not always your forte as the bulldozer.
Yeah.
But so obviously everyone's very well aware of what happened 2 days ago, right? And I put up a post about it on my Facebook page, just talking about the, like, sitting here as a father and as a husband, and like just being heartbroken for these 3 people that will now live the rest of their lives, right, without someone in it. And of course, somebody comes in and says something ignorant.
Yeah, stupid.
And other people go in fighting.
Yeah.
It's not helping.
I came in a little bit,
Right.
not fighting. But hard.
I typed out this very thoughtful comment back, kind of centering around, like, I don't need someone to love me for me to love them.
Right.
Like, that's not Christ. If you've got to do something for me lately for me to ultimately love you.
Right.
That comment, is it over 50 likes right now?
Oh, really?
The comment is.
The comment.
My comment. And so without the post, and then without the yucky comment from that guy, I don't get the opportunity to really show my heart to people. And we don't know what'll ever happen because of that comment, right? That could allow somebody to go, man, Kyle's awesomer than I thought he was. And what does that lead to in the future, right? And so I think it's so valuable on social media when we do respond to the haters, so to speak, but in a way that, like, you could be a little bit sarcastic, just don't go full a-hole.
Right.
Like, because at the end of the day, you're managing people's money, and you don't want to be the guy that people would be like, dude, he gets hot fast. That's probably not a good trait in a money manager.
Right.
But there's so much value in letting people publicly see those conversations, because it can speak to your character, to your integrity, to your passion. And so I'd lean in every time. Yeah. Because people are watching.
Yeah. And they kind of, a lot of people infer their own reactions to things, right? I mean, they take it where they want.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, like, even I thought about it, I made a post about it, but like, I had to chew on that for a whole day before I said anything publicly about it. Yeah. And even then I go back and forth about all these thoughts, right? Because like, I'm like very much in agreement with a lot of what Charlie's stuff is. And so everybody's clear, we're talking about Charlie Kirk and the situation that just happened, right? And I'm like, and this is why I appreciate you, because you bring a different heart to the situation. I'm an intensity guy, and I get checked on a lot of my stuff too. This is usually when my wife is like, "Hey, quit being an asshole."
Yeah,
all right.
Thank God for our wives.
Cussing right now, but like, and I'm like, I'm not being an asshole, and she's like, "You're being an asshole right now." Yeah, and I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. Yeah, and so I got to check myself. Yeah. But that's what I appreciate. That's the yin and yang, is like, because I'm only going to take that I got this question one time. It was actually, it was a bunch of realtors out in California. It was a Zoom talk. I did it with Johnny Quinn.
Okay.
And it was because I think this is what we all get like this worry about from sharing on social media, marketing, or whatever, is they're like, I'm not saying everything right. What are you going to think about me? Like, I don't want you to infer all these things that maybe I didn't mean.
Yep.
And so like I shared that specific audience. Somebody asked it in there. They were like, what do you say to people that are basically like saying you're doing it wrong, or that maybe you are wrong all completely, but that are like naysayers essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I told the story about how a guy posted a YouTube video when I was playing for the Cowboys about Corey Proctor must die. And I'm like, legit, it was a video in the basement of this guy. It was crazy. But I was like, I thought of two things right away. I was like, well, who's it coming from?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that I want, caring about, or like actually value in my life, in their opinion.
Yeah.
We got introduced and we've liked each other from the square one.
Yeah.
So like when you say something, this is when I'm like, check where it's coming from. This is somebody I want to be like, or I respect, or any of those things. So if somebody, you were in that category, right? That's first off. If they're not,
right,
just dismiss it and go away.
Yep.
But if it is, and they naysay you a little bit, okay, maybe you do have to take it in and chew on it.
Yeah.
And that's different, right? Because a lot of people aren't coachable.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, if you're not coachable, you're not going to go very far.
Nope.
And like some of the most successful people, they are some of the biggest listeners I've ever met.
Yeah.
And they know, they're like that. They're like, I don't know everything. I'm a big dummy. I just found a niche that was I did well at, and it popped off, and I have no idea about this other stuff. And so they're completely humble in that conversation. You know,
I love to ask people, like, when's the last time you asked a question? Man, that is a sobering thought. Because we think, man, I ask questions all the time. But I think what most of the time we do is we just make statements and give opinions, but we don't really ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And just last week, I was speaking in Nashville, and this guy came to watch me that happened to live there. He's been speaking 32 years. Man, I've only been speaking 22 years. And so this dude's got a decade on me. So he took me to dinner that night, and I was like, hey, what'd you think? How'd I do? And of course he's like, bro, it was awesome. I was like, no. I already know I'm awesome.
You're like me.
Right? It's like, right. It's like,
you're like me. Tell me.
I already know that I'm good. Like, this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
It's like, what could have been better?
Right.
And he gave me 3 things that were so tactical. Like, they weren't big, broad things. They were little bitty details that the average person would have been like, that's not a big deal. But I added all 3 in. I've done that talk twice since, and it elevated the crap out of it. And they were the tiniest little changes. Bro, how many areas in our lives are lacking those little bitty detail changes that would change everything? But we don't have enough humility inside of us to actually stop and go, dude, I know we're bros. You don't need to blow smoke up my butt. Like, where do you see me failing? Or not even failing, but like, where do you see me operating at an 8 when you know I'm capable of a 9?
Yeah.
Because that 10% shift is a huge deal. And I just, it took me a long time to have enough confidence, but also humility to not think that asking a question meant I was an idiot.
Yeah.
Now I know asking a question means I want to be better. Do we got to ask more questions, man?
It's funny because that's a lot what I share is I'm like, I asked enough stupid questions that eventually the questions became smarter.
That's it. Yep.
And a lot of us are afraid to ask a question. I was just telling Chris about a conversation I got in last night, with a client that had 10 cooks in the kitchen, and wanted me to talk with this guy, and he just came firing with opinions. I'm like, I didn't talk for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, did you ask any questions about this? Why? Did you ask why? Well, no, I just know this. I'm like, a lot of assumptions,
That's right. That's right.
I mean, there's, you got to have a question somewhere, and it just opens things up, right?
Yep.
Can I ask what the three things
Yeah.
were? Is that
Yeah,
cool?
absolutely. So my talk was a marketing talk about video, using video marketing. And so I've always been a very casual starter when I speak. Like I don't memorize talk, so I don't jump into a story typically because I want to talk to the room and I want them to feel like I'm here for you. And he was like, "Man, I get it, but like your opener needs to be a little stronger." And he asked me like, "What's a quote that you love?" And one of my favorite quotes is that Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour. And most people use Rome wasn't built in a day as an excuse, right? Like Rome wasn't built in a day, but the second part is the part that matters but they were laying bricks every hour.
Right.
And so my intro changed into video in your business are the bricks that when they start missing, you can't build. And dude, it was powerful. And it would have never happened had I not sought advice from this guy that had been doing it longer than me. And so then yesterday I was even able to ask, because it was a mortgage crowd, I was able to ask, hey, if you walked out in your front yard and you looked back at your house and saw a brick was missing, would you go, it's just one brick? Look how many bricks we've got.
Yeah.
No, you have somebody out there fixing it today. That's how valuable bricks are. And that's what you're missing when you don't leverage the power of video in the way that you build your business. So that's what changed my opener. The second thing he said was, Kyle, you're teaching all these people how to do these videos. Why don't you call up a volunteer and do a video from the stage with them?
Beautiful. So
one of my videos that I love doing is teaching people like, hey, have you ever been ghosted? We've all been ghosted. Yeah. I said, have you ever sent a video to that person that ghosted you and say, bro, I thought we had an awesome lunch last month, and now all of a sudden we're not friends anymore.
No
like, what's
date.
up?
No second date.
And be sarcastic.
Second date update.
And you always get the message back, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I've just been so, right? Like most of the time people aren't legit ghosting you.
Yeah.
And so I pulled a guy up on stage, and he sent a message this was a mortgage guy, so he sent a message to a realtor partner that had promised him a bunch of business and hadn't sent him any yet. And like I jumped in the background, I was like, yeah, man, what's up? and so awesome. Having that live was a game-changing addition.
Really?
So that the room could see, this is how easy this is. This isn't rocket science. All right, so that was the second piece. And then the third piece was he wanted me to brag about how I do it. And so I just made a slide with 4 examples of videos that I've done that all have made me money, but that none of them are on the internet. They're all one-to-one videos that resulted in money changing hands. Oh. And so I was able to just show that slide so that people could visually see it. Like, guys, this is it. I don't look cool. I don't have any sexy backgrounds. I'm wearing a hat in almost every single one of those videos. This is how this works. Do those 3 little bitty things that as the audience, you would, if you watched my talk without them and my talk with them, you might not even notice. But it added so many layers of storytelling to the overall talk. And dude,
that's my favorite.
It was awesome.
That's my favorite part about speaking.
That's it.
Is I love telling the stories.
Yeah.
Those are the most impactful, but you don't want to drown on, but like you gotta have all the quick hitters, right?
Yep.
You get comments like coming up. Did you see comment changes in just the 2 talks that you added those to? Like when people come up and talk to you afterwards, or what's that been like?
So funny enough, the typical QR code I use to get the feedback, I didn't use on the last 2 talks because I was promoting different things, and so I haven't gotten the traditional feedback.
Okay,
but the guy that I called up on stage to do the video 2 times that day, like when he saw me, he was like, "Bro, I already did 3 more videos, like since I did that one this morning," like, and so it's obvious that like maybe it didn't impact the entire room like I hoped it to. I think it did, but it definitely impacted him.
Yeah,
because he got to come up on stage and get over that fear.
I love. Well, everybody loves seeing demos, right? Show me for real. Like, all right, I want to show you in action what this looks like.
Yeah,
and it's a product of work, right? And so that's the interview. Show me what you've done before.
Yeah,
and God, that's awesome. I love that.
And
I hope you got the guy's information. The guy who gave you the tips.
Oh yeah, I'm speaking at his event. He's got an event coming up in November called the Thing Conference.
Okay.
And it's in Orlando, and so I'm gonna be speaking at it, and it's gonna be a good time.
It's gonna be a good time.
Thank you, Terry Weaver. You can give him a shout out.
Terry Weaver, come on. Get into this. I'm gonna see what we're okay. What for Rethink Everything, is this what are you promoting right now? What's your big thing right now that you're excited about?
What I'm excited about right now is that we've upped we just started social media a month ago, and then we're about to launch the podcast, and so I'm excited. We're about to launch a store, so you can buy Rethink Everything swag.
Okay.
And so I'm just excited at watching this evolve into a real brand.
Yeah.
Right. It's been cool up to now, but now it's gonna take over. We're gonna start doing Rethink Everything events, and this is gonna become a force that's gonna love and serve people. And so seeing all these little pieces come together has been really exciting.
It's awesome. I'll tell you, and from we're already talking about doing our own event type thing right now, right?
Yep.
But what I'd like to encourage people, because we like talking to entrepreneurs on here. Now we have a lot of people that listen outside of that, but like I'll get text messages from guys or people or afterwards that have been listening or see a clip of the podcast or social media or listen to. I did a 14 minute on how to build wealth and not lose your family.
Yeah.
And because that's one of the number one concerns about wealthy families. And I had a friend text me. He was like, "Thank you so much for that." And that was just a one-off. I had I needed some like Craig Rochelle type leadership podcast stuff, right?
Yep.
And we do some of that stuff. But he texted me. And I was all self-conscious about how short the video was. It wasn't,
12 to 14. It was feeling short to you?
Well, I felt like podcasts should be 30 plus,
sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's all it was, right? And he texted me. He was like, "Dude, thanks so much. I didn't know other people felt like this."
Yeah.
And
isn't that awesome?
And I was like, "Well, it was kind of short." That was my response. And he's like, "No, I actually listened to it twice on the way home." I'm like, "What?"
Wow.
Crazy. But I share that because what I want so bad from this podcast is I want the entrepreneurs, I want other people to win. So as bad as I want to win.
Yep.
And the rising tide, what is it? All boats rise with the rising tide, right?
Yep.
And so like if we can raise that together and I was so hungry for that wisdom that like, what'd you do well that I can apply to my life that you just did with your guy,
Terry.
And that like I wanted to feed other people that wanted to be fed.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I say that I bring you on because I think you're so valuable with that. And I've seen it in my own business, in my own life, where all of a sudden we're just sharing how there was I got a text this last week from a guy in church who, when I first started this business, gave me a shot, mine to lose, and I lost it.
Mm.
And it came back to me, hey, I finally got your minimum, and wants to have a conversation. Awesome. And I think you fit better than the person that we went with originally, other than you. And I'm like, what? So I bring that up because I know I see it working in our business.
Yeah.
And that's, I wanted you to speak to that. But if you could say one thing to the entrepreneur or whoever is listening to it, like that would be like your biggest takeaway for helping serve their business, helping grow their influence or their community, or you're like, you are that person. You're like, man, I only got 20 people on my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
That's not enough people. What are you going to tell to that person who's trying to get going, or even to the person who's farther along?
Well, two things. To that person, I'd say you're not going to get your 21st follower by doing nothing. So do something.
Yeah.
Right. But I think the big thing is, so Monday, I was a guest on a podcast that gets millions of downloads a year. And it's the biggest podcast I've ever been on. Mm. And I was telling a story.
We get 1,000,001, just so you know.
Yeah. When he gets 1,000,002. So he's just
stop what up
inches ahead of you. But I was telling him the story of having my breakout moment in 2019, and then COVID hit and took that away from me. And he stopped me and he goes, I'm giving you your next breakout moment right now. Mm. And dude, it sent chills through my body. And all I could think about were all these flashes of all the moments since 2019 that I looked in the mirror and thought, is this worth it? Should I keep going? Mm. Why am I doing this? Nobody's watching. My wife is asking me if any of this is going to work. And all I could think about when he said that was, you kept going. You kept going.
Yeah.
And I think that's the advice to any entrepreneur out there, which is there's no such thing as making it to the other side.
Yeah.
Because there's a new devil waiting for you at that next level. Right? And talk to any, I'm sure you've rubbed shoulders with millionaires and probably some billionaires, as I have. Mm-hmm. And man, the way they talk to me, I played in a golf scramble with a billionaire last year. And I left that scramble going, dude, I think my life might be better than his. And he's a freaking billionaire.
Yeah.
And so just we've got to just let go of this. One day it's going to get easy. I don't think it ever gets easy. I think that's why we have to continue to remind ourselves why it's worth it.
Yeah.
To continue to push through. Because I don't think any of us can be stopped if we just continue to move forward. That's the advice.
Dude, I love that. I mean, what you made me think about right there is one thing we brought up in our master class we talked about was adventure.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people think that I got hard work. Like in all toil, there's profit, right? But you got to work hard, do the thing. But and this is why I like Rethink, is because it's the renewing of the mind, right? It's like, and I remember having this was just earlier this year because I love adventure. You're an international speaker. Like I got one of my favorite things I've ever done was climb Kilimanjaro in Africa.
Yeah.
And I was at our girls' softball game, and I'm like, let's go climb a mountain. I was just like, screw everything. I've
never thought that.
Yeah.
So
well, one of my buddy's wives was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to
no thanks.
But I was like, let's just do something cool.
Yeah.
And it kind of hit me at one point. I'm like, why are we waiting on any of this stuff?
Yep.
We're missing out on so much good And I had that playing ball one time. Like I missed my 10-year anniversary of our national title team at Montana because I thought a team was going to pick me up. We were living in Jersey. And I'm like, what? Isn't that all the more reason to go?
Yeah.
Like, you have nothing on the calendar right now, technically.
Yeah.
Like, to go. And by the way, when you post it, I get so envious of you in another place, right? Like my buddy, he went to Italy in the summer for a month, and I'm like, oh, how cool are you, Chris? We sit here and talk about like all these gourmet things, like eating other places. Got a buddy that's got a castle in Ireland. I'm like, we're going to Ireland.
That's right.
We're doing that.
Well, be jealous next week when I post pictures of playing golf from where they filmed Happy Gilmore 2.
No.
So,
do you have the spin thing that they have at the end?
Man,
did you
if
watch
they've
it
got it,
Okay.
if they've got it out there, I'm gonna try it.
But I just that's what you make me think of, man. Dude, I love you.
I love you too, bro.
Thank you so much for coming on. Everything.
Can I tell everybody about the AI Summit coming up?
Oh yes, please.
So my business partner in my coaching company for about a year now. So he owns a co-working space up near Seattle. He also owns a mortgage company. And then we've got our coaching company. So we're both serial entrepreneurs. And he blows my mind every single day with what he's doing with AI. Not just ChatGPT, but like the world of AI is far bigger than ChatGPT and what it can do. And so we ran a 10-day, what we called the AI blueprint that was digital. And we got such a good response from it. We, again, right, like, let's just do stuff. Let's have fun. Let's take action.
Yeah.
3 days ago, we thought, let's just do an event in 3 weeks in Dallas and see if we can't get 20 people to come.
Yeah.
Where we're going to spend 6 hours on our laptops smashing our own teeth in with all things AI.
Yeah.
It's going to be unbelievable. And so we're calling it the AI Summit. We don't even as we're recording this, we don't even have the landing page ready yet, but I'm sure it will be ready by the time y'all push this out there. But if you're in DFW or you want to fly in, it will be worth it.
Yeah.
To come be a part of it. Because this is where the world is going. And so we can't be burying our heads in the sand. We got to get uncomfortable and get after it. So thanks for letting me talk about it.
You're a stud. It's awesome. I'm going to try to make it. So I got to make sure I'm good. But Tony Robbins even talks about if you don't have it within the next 10 years, you'll be obsolete.
Done. And that's probably generous.
Right. Because the acceleration is so crazy.
Yeah.
Dude. All right, brother. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Awesome.